Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, January the 16th, 2025. Well, we have Willow not knowing what to think, not knowing how to think, not knowing how to act because Drew was not glued to her hip today, speaking for her. Nina actually comes to try to talk some sense into Willow. She said, Willow, this is not you. What you're doing is cruel. You know, you're keeping Michael's parents away from him when he needs them. And she's saying, and I need my kids. I will do anything. Drew said blah 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 blah. And Drew was right. She said Drew like 3 times in each consecutive sentence. And finally Nina said, Willow, I need you to think for yourself. And Willow looked for her. She goes, do you hear what's coming out of your mouth? It's Drew this, Drew that. Drew says, Drew what? She says, Willow, this is not you. And I need you to see this. What you're doing, it's not getting you your kids back any faster. There is another way. She goes, what? What way? She goes, compromise. Allow Sonny and Carly to see Michael. And then perhaps now you'll be able, that'll pave the road to you getting your kids back. Drew says, I have the leverage. And she goes, Willow, right now it's not working. And you don't want to be known as someone keeping their parents away from their child. You just don't. I understand you want Wiley and Amelia, and all is not lost. But just think, because see what Nina's saying, if Michael dies tomorrow and you didn't let his family even be by his side, woo, I wouldn't want to be you. Would not want to be you. Now, this was the first time I'd seen Willow actually peeking in on Michael. First time. And she's just crying. She's crying out there. Now, she wasn't crying for Michael. She's crying for how'd I get into this, right? Chase came to see her while he had his doctor's appointment, his physical, and they took some tests. Test results will be back in a few days. And now it's Brooklyn's turn with her doctor, Dr. Navarro. And not Drew, Chase went to see Willow. And Willow wanted some advice from him. Well, I want your take. I don't want just everybody's in my head. I'm thinking everybody's in your head. You mean Drew? And she goes, you were the first person I met when I got here. And I Willow ended up diagnosing her own plan, her own problem, her own shortcomings. I tend to fall in love with my saviors. When I was young and didn't know any better, I thought Shiloh was my savior. Look, until she got pregnant and didn't want to hand over her baby to him, right? And then she says, and then it was you. You saved me. No, she never said she thought Shiloh was her savior. Shiloh was just the first person she needed saving from. The cult, she had to listen to him and for a large part when she was little, especially with her mother, Harmony/Lorraine, Shiloh was like God to them, right? The worship. Then it was Chase. He saved her. She fell in love with him. Then it was Michael. She goes, and Michael, when I found out that my baby, Jonah died, then Michael saved me by giving me a family. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, actually, Jonah didn't die. Wiley is who died. Michael named his baby Jonah. Actually, nailed it too. The baby's name was Jonah. Wiley was the name that Brad and Lucas gave to Willow's baby. But Michael just kept the name because Wiley had been used to hearing it for a year. And I actually like the name Jonah better, but anyway, that's here and there. So anyway, as she goes, and now it was Drew. And Chase said, "Oh, because Drew literally saved your life?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You know, Willow, I don't call it you looking for a savior." He says, I look at it differently. I think you're just looking for a home. She says, and she looked at him, and I'm thinking, Michael gave her a great home, right? He goes, "You were looking for home in someone else, a sense of family in someone else." She goes, "But you don't have to, Willow. You have your own family. You make your own home." And she looked at him and she sat back. She said, "You know, Chase, thank you. You gave me some advice, a way for me to look at things differently, not just telling me what to think." And she goes, "Thank you so much for that." And he goes, "Willow, you always have the capability of thinking for yourself." So he leaves. And then we have Nina. Nina is so frustrated she goes to see Ava. And Ava's listening to her. And she's like, Drew is so in her head, she can't think straight. He literally tells her what to do and she does it, even if it's for her own detriment. Hey, come to Washington, D.C. with me in the midst of a separation and everything else, and impending divorce. And Willow does. Hey, take Wiley with you, bring him without permission. She goes, and Willow does. He says, and the things, she's literally reciting everything he says. And she goes, Drew has to be stopped. And so Ava tells Nina exactly what Curtis told Nina: stop him. You have the power to open Willow's eyes. Tell her that while they were so busy falling in love, or she was so busy falling in love with this version of Drew in her head, this perfect man who would never lie to her, he was sleeping with her mother, sleeping with Nina, and not telling Nina that he had designs and was stalking her daughter. Nina, and actually, what Ava told her before Curtis even told her, he goes, Nina, you're going to wait too late. You're so busy saying, now is not the time, now is not the time. She says, if you wait too late, she goes, you don't know what Drew has in store for your daughter. And you're going to wait too late so that the news won't even matter. And it's almost at that point. It's almost at that point. Alexis calls Drew over, trying to plead her case once again about how she wishes Scout, that was yesterday, wants Scout to be with her. Today, she's venting to Curtis because she went to a meeting. Curtis went to a meeting and they were talking. And she was like, Drew is not thinking of Scout, not thinking of her best interest at all. He has already broken Sam's wishes. He's already separated her from Rocco and Danny. And now with the whole Congress thing, she goes, I don't know what Drew's going to do. And Curtis says, well, Drew's going to do what Drew wants to do. And you look up and Drew's going to take your granddaughter right with him. And Alexis says, if Drew tries to take Scout to Washington, D.C., I am going to fight him. and I am going to win. And I thought, well, I'd like to know how she gonna win. She's the grandparent. And a grandparent that has had a very checkered past, right? Okay, I mean, I don't think Alexis would win. I really don't, but she seems to feel she wouldn't. So Curtis is just looking at her, right? Now, Kai in the hospital, it's a dislocated shoulder, and he's getting ready to go for an MRI so they can find out the extent of the damage so that he can begin physical therapy. He feels he'll be back on the field in time for spring training. Watch. That injury is going to be worse than they thought. Watch, he tore some kind of ligament or something. Something else. Kai's not going to be playing football probably for the rest of the season's almost over, but he ain't gonna have no spring training. He's gonna still be injured. Watch, which is gonna send him for a loop mentally, which of course it would. Football's been his life. But Trina ends up talking to Ava about it, and Ava says, "You know, you want to go visit him. Go visit him." And she's like, "Really? Thank you, Ava." So she runs out of there and she runs into Aunt Stella. And Aunt Stella had been in Kai's room, bringing him all these gifts. His room was full of gifts, teddy bears, balloons, flowers. And I'm thinking, do these people know they're sending these gifts to a teenage boy? No, he's not even teenage. He's in college. So 20 something, a 20 in his tweens. No, not even tweens. He's in his 20s. Um, who wants a teddy bear? Grown men don't want that. So anyway, Kai asked her, "Can you donate all this stuff to the pediatric wards? Make some kids happy." And I'm like, "I'm with you, Kai." So Trina ends up running into Stella with her arms full, and she helps Stella deliver these things. And they go into Kai's room, and she still sees everything else there. And she told that Stella, I'll keep helping you." And she's like, "No, you talk, you stay here and talk. I'll handle this." So Stella's doing her thing. Cody and Dante talk. Geo, I'm sick of all that grinning from Geo. But anyway, Geo is helping Cody because Cody has a massive hangover. So Cody's paying him to clean the stables, and Dante talks to him. And of course, they're freely talking about that summer camp when Dante was so smitten with Brooklyn. All he wanted to do was sneak away from their camp to go to the girls' camp, and yada, yada, yada. And Brooklyn was feisty, and Dante tends to like feisty women, and whatever. Anyway, that's free open conversation. So when we find out Gio's Dante's son, it'll make sense, right? So Brooklyn does tell her doctor says, have you had any prior pregnancies? And she says, yes, when I was a teenager. And she said, how did the pregnancy go? She goes, it went fine. And I had a healthy baby, but I gave the baby up for adoption. And so she says, that's why I am shocked that it's been so difficult to get pregnant now. And so she goes, well, don't be alarmed. She says, you having the first pregnancy, that does show that, your body can do it. You can get pregnant. But there are sometimes a number of factors, which is why they ran a little battery of tests, and she came back and told Brooklyn her test would be back in a week and they would have another appointment and talk, right? But while Cody and Dante are talking, Gio lets Selena Wu in to the uh, stables or tack house or whatever you want to call it. And Cody's trying to act surprised that she's come there when, let's face it, she got the word that he wanted to speak to her, but he's acting surprised because Dante's sitting there. And so he goes, Miss Wu, I told you, I do not want to get back into your games and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, well, Mr. Bell, if you change your mind, you know where to find me. And he's just looking at her like, get out of here. I'll look you up. And so when she leaves, she's talking to Gio. But Dante looks at Cody. He goes, what's going on? And he goes, what do you, what does Selena Wu really want? You heard her. And you heard what I told her. No, I'm not interested in getting back into that. And Dante's just looking at him. He goes, Cody, are you in some kind of trouble? Because I can help. Nope, no, I'm not. No, you're not. You're getting ready to get in trouble. You ain't in it yet. You running in foot first. Now, for one, you should have never had Selena meet you at anywhere on a Quartermain estate. You should have met her in whatever underground she's at because we haven't seen Selena Wu in Port Charles in forever. Okay? Forever. But we all know Cody's gonna spiral down 100%. Um, we have Tracy. Carly shows up. She wants her grandkids, and Tracy's like, I'm gonna tell you like I told your husband. You're not getting them. She goes, as a matter of fact, Carly, I'm upholding the court order you initiated. And Cardi said, I know, but I didn't think things would go like this, would go this far. Tracy goes, you didn't think. That sounds about right. That's what you've been doing all your life. You didn't think something would turn out the way it did. She goes, Monica's happy with these kids under her roof. And I'm like, okay, you using Monica's name a lot with these kids, right? So she ended up telling Carly, you're not taking them. She says, look, you, Willow may have medical power of attorney over Michael. She said, but Carly, Willow is a nurse. Willow is still gonna want the best care for Michael. Okay? Work it out. Go to Willow. She says, you and Sonny can work it out with Willow. Okay? The kids don't have to be used as the bargaining chip. So Carly just looks at her. And so Carly's like, well, I'm going to go see Monica. So she goes to storm up the stairs. Tracy starts laughing. Good luck with that because Yuri's not going to let you in her door. Past her door. So she goes, well, I'm going to go see the kids. And as soon as, like when Carly got there, Tracy says, okay, you're here to see your grandchildren. They're upstairs. But don't think you're going to abscond with them like your ex-husband thought he was. They're going to stay here. And that's when her and Carly went into the other room and started talking. So Carly says, well, then I'm going to go see my grandkids. And Tracy says, no, you're not. That offer expired. And I was like, doggone it. Tracy, you pushing that a little bit too far. But she knew Carly. You let Carly up there. What's Carly gonna do? Come right down with those kids or take the back. Remember, there's some back stairs out of that Quartermain mansion. Carly would take those kids down the back way out of there. So Tracy's not stupid, but she doesn't have a leg to stand on. As a matter of fact, in the end, Chase comes in and he goes something about Tracy, you can't do what you're doing, or what are you doing, or whatever he's saying. You can't keep Willow's kids away from her. So, um, we'll see what happens there. But let's be real. In reality, where are the kids supposed to be? Diane's document with the kids being at the Quartermain house or coming out of Willow's custody, the judge signed off on that. Martin has to get a judge to reverse that. Because right now, the kids are legally where they're supposed to be. And Drew had already told Willow that get Martin working on it. By next week, I could pull some strings and get you custody. So, bottom line, Willow was going to get him back anyway. She should have been the one playing nice and going to visit her kids at the Quartermain house. But I bet you they wouldn't even let her through the door, and she would be lynched. So, Anyway, they're where they legally need to be. Carly and Sonny could not arbitrarily change the judge's order. Diane has to get it changed, or Martin has to get it changed. That's really how that should go, or would go, right? So that's it, everybody. Nothing else really happened today on General Hospital. And what I want to do, I want to, before I go into comment corner, this Saturday, January 18th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 p.m. Central time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're doing a live YouTube stream. We're going to be live. We're going to be talking about General Hospital, and we're going to be having our usual friends and family chat. Okay. So I want to see you all there. So now with Comment Corner, we had I think like 87 comments. So what I did the other day, I went from top to bottom. Yesterday, I went from bottom to top. Today, I let the mouse scroll down, stop somewhere in the middle, and I'm going to go from the middle down. This way, we can get comments from people that commented in the middle today. Let's see. Nikki says, for everyone saying that Jason chose his family over Sonny, no, Jason chose them over Michael. Michael's in the hospital with no protection. Yes, why doesn't Car you mean Carly just called the police? Yeah, I think that's what you mean, Nikki. And DB says, wouldn't it be a lovely gesture for anyone else to get the Q house but Tracy? Uh, but Tracy earned it. No. Uh, how did she earn it? It wasn't hers to earn. I know if my brother had a house built for his wife and gave it to her for a wedding present, but the house was a mansion, huge enough for the parents and for me to have my own nice choice of suites and anybody else, I still can't call claim on the house. My brother had it built for his wife. Tracy has absolutely no claim on this house because Alan had it built for Monica. Now, if it was a house that they grew up in, the family Q home, if that was the house, then okay, Tracy could have some claim on that. But not this house. This is Monica's house. Alan gave it to her. And what everybody forgets to say, as a wedding present. Uh, and this is Tracy's lawyer probably will find a loophole for Willow to kick rocks, keep the kids stable, and Carly and Sonny will be there for Michael. She doesn't have time for feelings. Jason chose right. That act, oh, you know what? I forgot to turn on my little trusty dusty timer. Everybody, let me get that going. That way I know how long I'm doing a comic corner. Um, that act went long away. I mean, long way. Okay. And now Nikki says, first of all, Carly has a court order, and Michael has never indicated that he wanted Tracy to raise his dog, let alone his children. And Michael wouldn't want Tracy to raise his children. But within that court order, when they removed the kids from Nina's house, that is where they took the kids. And Michael was already in the hospital, so it was already understood that the kids were going to go to the Quartermain house. So there you have it. Because Carly didn't go to Carly's house because Carly's standing vigil by Michael's bedside, and they have all the nannies at the Q house. Um, Nataku says the way Drew is puppeting Willow, um, though wouldn't really make him want them with Willow. I didn't quite understand that particular sentence. Nikki says, no, he made his grandchildren for AJ, never raised that boy. Okay, I don't get that one, Nikki. And Nikki says, I like Tracy, But I think what she did today was pure manipulation, and everybody's talking about he chose his family. Is Michael not his family? Who's protecting him? There is a serial killer running around the hospital that just tried to kill him, and he has no one to protect him. But Monica is happy that she gets to see her grandkids every day. Who wrote this dumb Nikki? Now, what I don't understand is, didn't Lucas, no, Lucas told Elizabeth and Lucky somebody tried to kill Michael. Why has no one told Sonny and Carly? Because come on, the lab has analyzed what was in those IVs. They need to know somebody tried to kill Michael. There needs to be a guard there. Let's be real. Sharon says, I think the house will be given to Jason. And Sharon also says, it wouldn't be a surprise if Drew would talk Willow into talking about the Quartermain mansion. I don't like Drew or Willow. I don't know what you mean about talking about the Quartermain mansion. Sharon says, these need to mention that Monica has deceased. It's already announced. But no, I talked about that on Tuesday's episode. I did a whole thing on Monica, Sharon. I even have her pictures, so we all know that the actress Leslie Carlson passed away. And General Hospital, they're going to do it, but whenever, they never do anything like that right off. Months, anywhere from 2 to 6 or 7 months down the road, sometimes 8 months. Look how long it took them to even mention that the actress that played Bobby passed away. Um, Tracy Sharon also says Tracy mentioned AJ, but AJ was a loser. Yes, AJ was a loser. And then Sharon says, I said Susan, it's Sharon. Sharon said, Sonny is trying to keep the peace. I like Sonny. Sonny is trying to be a father, a family man, and doesn't want to disrespect Jason's. Sonny don't care not a doggone thing about Jason's family. He really doesn't. Sonny Jason had to tell him, no, I'm not taking over the business because Danny's already lost his mother and I can't. Oh, yeah. Okay. I admire you, Jason. Yeah, but you sure did say, I need you to take over the business. Jason had to say no. Catherine says, the writers, please don't destroy the friendship between Sonny and Jason. Sonny just wants Carly and him to continue to be able to see Michael. He knows the kids will be okay and that Diane will fight and represent for them. The writers are really trying to separate the friendship and seems to be trying to weaken Sonny's character, in my opinion. Um, and then Sharon says, I don't like how Tracy uses Monica to get what she wants to keep Jason in line. And she was surprised that worked. She really was. Because Jason never does what Tracy wants, but he will do what Monica wants. So, anyway, Brenda says, why did Sasha get involved sending them kids up there for cookies? That didn't make no sense. Willow, if you were smart, you should have come by yourself and left those kids at Nina's home with the nanny. No, Willow had just got the kids from the Quartermains. Tracy did not know that Willow had the kids at her house. Willow stopped at her house to get more things to take over. Remember, Drew left with Willow saying, let's go get your kids. So they got them out the house, but Willow was so busy trying to pack their stuff and then have that little heart to heart talk with Wiley. That's the stalling for time, which is what got the kids taken right back up to the main house. And yes, Sasha is getting all off in the middle of things, but guess what? I like Sasha. I like Sasha a lot. Mary says, I read that Monica left everything to Jason, the house, the money, everything. Uh, don't need Tracy or didn't leave Tracy or Drew anything. And they're very angry now. They're planning to get Jason out of the way. For one thing, Drew shouldn't expect a doggone thing. Monica didn't know him long enough. She was nice enough to let him live rent free in her place for years. So kick rock, Drew, for anything else. You got Quartermain money. You got shares of ELQ. No. Monica has an emotional connection to Jason. And I'm sorry, Tracy has a boatload of money too. So you don't need Monica's money either, Tracy. You and Monica were frenemies. Frenemies. Betty says, I love your recaps. Well, thank you, Betty. Melody says, I love your recaps. I love Tracy too. She played Jason. Why, thank you, Melody, about the recaps. Uh, Chrism says, Monica should give the mansion to Jason. I think so too. And then DB says, that is Tracy's home. She's earned it. Nah, it's not Tracy's home at all. Really. Not at all. And then Kelly said to DB, I kind of want Jason or Tracy to get the house, and then Tracy could say, that's my house. Monica gave it to me. And then the last comment is from Willie. Willie says Willow has fake papers, Michael's medical. It's not the real ones. Um, on his papers, the papers she got is forged. How could she get forged papers? I don't know. And where's Diane in all this? I mean, that's one thing Diane should be addressing is who really has the medical power of attorney, right? And then, oh, this is the last one. LaShanta says, Drew keeps talking about cracks in Michael and Willow's marriage. What cracks? And then Michelle says, the crack his behind put there. That's funny, but you use another word there, Michelle. All right, that's it from Comment Corner. Everybody, thank you so much for participating in comments. It is just like we are talking to each other. I love it. I love it. And I'm going to enjoy Saturdays live chat from Comment Corner. So I will be back tomorrow for another daily recap of General Hospital.